Some people call it learning how to drive stick or how to drive manual transmission. Whatever you call it, both are the same. Many drivers never learn how to drive a car with a manual transmission, or stick shift. The ability to drive a stick shift will allow you to drive any type of vehicle regardless of it being an automatic or manual. When first learning how to drive this type of vehicle, it is best to find a large parking lot or empty street on which to practice. For many drivers, learning to drive a stick shift is similar to learning to ride a bicycle. At first the task seems impossible, but after you acquire the skill, you will never struggle again. The following directions will provide a basic guideline for your first few attempts at driving a car with a manual transmission. Before you begin to drive a stick shift, you need to understand how this type of car differs from cars with automatic transmissions. While seated in the driver's seat, take a look at the 3 pedals at your feet. The first pedal on the left is the clutch. This pedal appears only in cars with manual transmissions. The middle pedal is the brake. The right pedal is the accelerator. You will use your left foot for the clutch and your right foot for the brake and accelerator. When you push in the clutch, or step down with your left foot on the clutch pedal, you are disengaging the assembly. When you are lifting your foot off the clutch pedal, the friction of the assembly starts moving, causing your vehicle to move forward. Before starting the car, take a look at the gear shifter. Most cars with manual transmissions have a gear shifter in the middle of the passenger and driver seats. First gear is typically located at the top left corner and the remaining 4 or 5 gears rotate from top to bottom, left to right. The gear locations will be clearly marked on most stick shift vehicles. If the gear shift is located in the center, the car will be in neutral, at which point you should be able to easily move the gear shifter back and forth. To start a stick shift, first press the clutch all the way to the floorboard with your left foot. Ensure that the gear shifter is in the neutral position, then turn the ignition with the key. If you are certain that the car is in neutral, you can remove your foot from the clutch. Ensure that the parking or emergency brake is not in use. To prepare to drive the manual vehicle, press the clutch with your left foot and the brake, or the center pedal, with your right foot. Next, position the gear shifter so that the transmission is in the first gear. Again, this should be the position furthest to the left and at the top half of the gearbox. Remove your right foot from the brake pedal. If you are on a flat surface, which is ideal for your first attempt, the vehicle should move very little. Slowly begin to place less pressure on the clutch with your left foot. Depending on the vehicle, you may feel it begin to slowly roll forward. As you gently release the clutch, begin to press the accelerator with your right foot. This is a delicate motion. Do not accelerate your vehicle excessively. Remember that first gear is only designed for speeds up to about 15 miles per hour. At some point, you will have released the clutch completely and will only be pressing the accelerator with your right foot. You will be driving in first gear. Continue to build speed until you feel that you need to shift into second gear. Depending on your vehicle, you can use the sound of the motor, your RPM gauge, and slash or your speed to calculate when you need to change gears. Upshift to second gear and repeat. Take your right foot off of the accelerator while simultaneously activating the clutch with your left foot. Your car will continue to roll. Move the gear shifter into second gear. Release the clutch as you begin to apply the accelerator again. Repeat this process to continue to build speed. Downshifting when decreasing speed and downshifting, the process is the same as above for accelerating but going from a higher gear to a lower gear. You may experience higher revs when downshifting, so make sure to use more of the accelerator pedal. If you don't accelerate enough, the car will decelerate more abruptly. Going in reverse when you need to reverse the vehicle, oftentimes, you won't have to push the gas pedal. If you do, it will be a little bit. Set the car into reverse when at a complete stop, and slowly let out the clutch with your other foot on the brake to control the car. Parking manual cars don't have a park gear, so it is important to engage the emergency parking brake every single time. You will also want to put the car into gear, not neutral, that way you have both the emergency brake and the gears keeping your car from moving or rolling. Starting on a hill. Hills can be tricky to master since you will likely roll back, and risk hitting a car behind you. To easily start a manual vehicle on a hill, rely on the parking brake. Position your wheel in the direction you want to go and let off the clutch and onto the throttle as you normally would. Once you feel the car fight against your parking brake, release the brake and engage the clutch. When you park a stick shift, make sure that you leave the gear shifter in first position and apply the clutch until the ignition is turned off. With a little practice and some tips from experienced stick shift drivers, you will be an expert in no time. Once in the driver's seat, check your door is closed properly. Check the handbrake is on and applied sufficiently. Order of the foot pedals. Left pedal, the clutch pedal, that makes the car go. Middle pedal, the brake pedal, slows all four wheels at the same time. Right pedal, the gas pedal, the more you push it down the more it increases the fuel flow into the engine and the faster you go. Adjusting the seat. You need to be able to reach the foot pedals comfortably without stretching. A slight bend in your leg is perfect when the clutch is fully depressed. Your headrest helps reduce whiplash in an accident. Roughly the middle of your head should be in line with the middle of your headrest. Steering. You should hold the wheel at either the 10-2 position or the 2-45 position. Your arms should not be fully outstretched, you should still have a slight bend at your elbows. Your instructor will explain the pull-push steering technique. Seat belt. It is the law you wear your seat belt. Always make sure there are no twists in your seat belt because it will press into you more in an accident. Adjusting the mirrors. Your center mirror is made of flat glass. This gives you the true image of what is behind you. The door mirrors are made of convex glass. They give you a wider field of vision but make things seem further away than they really are. Adjusting your center mirror, you need the best possible view of the road behind you. Adjusting your door mirrors, you need the best possible view down both sides of the car. You can check for cyclists on your left or a motorcycle/overtaking vehicle on your right. Blind spots, these are areas that you cannot see. Your instructor will give you a full explanation. The ignition key and starting the car. The key is normally found on the right-hand side of the steering column. Some cars now have a push-button start system. Your instructor will give you a full explanation. The handbrake. What is it for? You apply the handbrake once the car is stationary. This secures the vehicle. How do I use it? To apply the handbrake, you press or hold the button in and at the same time pull the handbrake up until it's tight. Once tight, release the button and the handbrake is applied. The car should be secure, but if in doubt pull the handbrake up one click. To release the handbrake, pull it up slightly then press the button in and push the handbrake down all the way. Make sure you keep the button pressed in until the handbrake is fully down. When do I use it? If you have stopped for more than a couple of seconds, apply the handbrake. The gear lever. What is it for? Most modern cars have 5 or more forward gears and 1 reverse gear. As you build up your speed you change into a higher gear. How do I use it? You always have to come off the gas and fully depress the clutch before you can move the gear lever and select another gear. When do I use it? You always move off from stationary in first gear. As you build up your speed you change into a higher gear. Matching your gear to your speed is a good way of knowing when to change. 0 to 10 miles per hour use first gear. 10 to 20 miles per hour use second gear. 20 to 35 miles per hour use third gear. 35 to 55 miles per hour use fourth gear. 55 to 70 miles per hour use fifth gear. As your speed reduces you match your gear to your speed again. Below 55 miles per hour back into fourth gear. Below 35 miles per hour back into third gear. Below 20 miles per hour back into second gear. Below 10 miles per hour back into first gear. These are just rough guidelines and speeds may differ from car to car. Your instructor will fully explain the gear layout in the car and how to change gear. as well as the advantages of block gear changes, changing down through the gears individually, engine braking and coasting. The foot pedals. The clutch pedal, left pedal used by the left foot. What is it for? The clutch is for moving off, stopping, changing gear and clutch control. How do I use it? When you depress the clutch, you disconnect the engine from the wheels. With the clutch down you can select a gear, first for example. When you bring the clutch back up you connect the engine to the wheels again. We call this finding the biting point. When do I use it? You use the clutch for selecting a gear, moving off and stopping. The brake pedal, middle pedal used by the right foot. What is it for? You use the foot brake for slowing down and stopping. Whilst braking, your brake lights warn following drivers that you're slowing down. Your foot brake works all four wheels at the same time. How and when do I use it? When you want to slow down, or slow down and stop, you only have to apply gentle pressure to the brake. Once you have started driving the car you will see how sensitive it is. The gas pedal, right pedal used by the right foot. What is it for? When you press the gas down it pumps more fuel into the engine. How and when do I use it? You apply gentle pressure to the gas when you move off from stationary. Once you are moving, the more gas you apply the faster you go. It is the first pedal you come off when you want to slow down and the first to come off before you depress the clutch, if you want to change gear. Thank you for watching this video.